Well, hello, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you today at Davenport University. It's been one of the best jobs I've ever had, and I would tell you that the Davenport University is so responsive and so good to the military. It just makes me feel a deep sense of pride working here. But I'm a retired lieutenant colonel from the Air Force, 27 years, and I started out enlisted. That means I had no stripes, and worked my way up through 4 stripes, going to school at night, getting my education, a lot like our non-traditional students. And then after 7 years of enlisted time, I went to officers training school, became an officer. Worked my way up through the ranks, but the one thing about it is I never forgot where I came from and those who helped me along the way. Why did I join the Air Force? Well, number one, I joined the Air Force because at 19 years of age, the blue uniform matched the color of my eyes. And that's the only reason I joined the Air Force. But I had to because my first semester of college, my dad had a heart attack, and I had to quit college and do something to help put food and milk on the table for my 5 brothers and sisters. We didn't have much. And so the Air Force was good to me. It was there when I needed them. It helped me grow up. In fact, I don't know what I'd be doing had the Air Force not been there for me. Shortly after the Air Force, I met a colonel's daughter and married her, and she was the best thing that ever happened to me for sure. We've now been married 44 years. And so we've had a good Air Force career. I retired in 2000. So it's been a little while, but everything I've ever thought of that's good in my life are those 2 things, the Air Force and my wife, and Davenport's as well. I've been with Davenport 12 years now, and I've enjoyed every minute. I love the leadership at Davenport and how they support the military. You know, you've heard the old saying that transitional assistance programs exist for the military, and they do. However, it is still tough transitioning from people standing at attention when you walk into a room, people walking to your left side, and a lot of those military customs and courtesies. It's hard to get over that initially. And after a couple of years, my wife said, "Jim, you're not the colonel anymore. Give it up." And it was at that point I realized that I had to, if I was to succeed in higher ed. A lot of my students to this day would never know I was in the military because I made that transition so good. And I attribute that change to success I've had in higher ed. I just briefly discussed the transition. Cultural difference there is that, you know, you're used to being in charge, and I was a commander 4 different times. So you're used to being in charge of folks. And let me go back, can I go back to
Absolutely.
that first? Okay. The hardest thing about transitioning for me too is that having been at the round table, the conference table at the end, and going around and delegating authority to everybody, I was relying on my staff to do the work for me. And then when I became a civilian, I had no staff. In fact, I wasn't even hireable because I didn't know computers like a lot of the younger folks did. So I had to force myself. I never took a dummy book or bought a dummy book, but I had to sit there and learn how to make mistakes on the computer and trial and error. But you know, with a lot of hard work, you can make the transition. If I can do it, anybody can do it. As far as the cultural differences, good leadership is good leadership is good leadership. And when you've got an organization that has great leadership in it, there is really no difference because it's caring about the people and putting the people's needs above your own. Therein lies the recent book I just finished on servant leadership in the military. Davenport University has been great to me, and I truly appreciate it. Without Davenport, I would not have, I'm quite sure I would not have finished my PhD in servant leadership. So Dr. Pappas, Dr. Rinker, Dr. Imperinato have all been outstanding to me.
Perfect. Then whenever you're ready.
Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to tell anybody who has just departed the military and served their country for one tour, 2, 3, 4 years, that I appreciate your sacrifices, that I appreciate your support. And the one word of advice I can give you is to never forget where you came from, and never forget that it's teamwork that makes organization success. And as I was a young officer, I thought I was pretty bad. But then as I matured, I realized that it wasn't about me and never was. It's something bigger than that. So when we put the needs of others above our own and we never forget where we came from, we're going to be successful, because take care of the people, they'll take care of you.
Whenever you're ready.
Given the opportunity to say a few words at the very end, it's so important to remember that we're not judged by how much we respect others. We're judged by how much others respect us. And when you take care of people and you give more to them than they can give to you, then people will respect you. And the one thing I learned, because I didn't graduate high school, I had to go to summer school to get my diploma, that anything worthwhile is worth working for, and nothing's free. Nobody gives you anything. But we learn that in the military. We learn that hard work and sacrifice is important. And so therefore, being in a university now, work hard and set your goals high, and you'll be successful. I believe that.